discuss herbs, we always start with the Shannon Bansao Jing. It's Divine Farman's Classic of Materia Medica. And this is a text that was compiled around the beginning of the 1st century. And I will put a lot of emphasis on this text because I'm going to come back and forth and relate to these lines, because I think these lines are very important. And these lines contain the essence of the herb. And let's start. So the qi and flavor are bitter, neutral, and non-toxic. So notice the bitterness. It governs bound qi within the heart, abdomen, intestines, and stomach, food and drink, accumulations and gatherings. So notice that it treats bound qi, like qi that is bound and stuck. And it treats accumulations and gatherings, again, all kinds of stagnations. And what's interesting is if you look at the organs that are mentioned here, it's a heart, abdomen, intestine, stomach. If you look at it, these are actually the organs along actually the Yang Ming tube, right? So it's interesting to notice that. And it also governs cold and heat, evil qi. So this is the first time we're discussing this quality of Chai Hu that treats both cold and heat, or maybe alternating cold and heat. And then comes this line, it pushes out the old to bring forth the new. And this is, I consider, an important text, an important line, which we'll discuss later. And when taken for over a long period of time, notice the long period, it lightens the body, brightens the eyes, and boosts the essence. So that's a herb that we can even consider as a tonifying herb because it boosts the essence. The next text I want to touch on is the Minyi Beilu, Supplementary Records of the Famous Physicians. And this was a text compiled by Tao Ho Jing in the 6th century. And he says that it's slightly cold and not toxic. Chai Hu governs cold damage accompanied by vexation and heat located below the heart. It treats various types of phlegm heat, knotting, and hardness. It addresses evil, rebellious qi in the chest. So notice this boldness I gave to the rebellious, because that's very important. It governs wandering qi between the 5 zang organs. So my interpretation of this wandering qi is like qi that wanders around like wind, which is what we learned later on in TCM, is that when we have a liver qi problem, qi moves around, right? We have this qi that is stuck in different places in the body. It treats accumulations and stagnation in the large intestine. So here, this idea of this Yang Ming organ being affected. It is used for water distension. It is indicated for damp impediment causing contractions and spasm, and can be used as a bath decoction. So if we take the two texts together, we can see that the common theme is it relieves qi stagnation, it's good for accumulation, and it's not toxic. But there are differences between the two texts. The Shannon Bansao Jing talks about bitterness and neutralness, about cold and heat, and a lot of focus on the qi, right? It's cold and evil qi, lightens the body and boosts the essence. While the Minyi Beilu focuses on that it's more cold and it's more water pathologies like phlegm heat, damp contraction. So these are distinctions, or maybe different aspects of this herb. But then comes the modern text of Bensky. And Bensky pictures a different herb almost. He mentioned it's bitter, but it's also acrid. The first time we see this indication of acrid. It treats alternating chills and fever, and we'll zoom in about this issue of alternating. Releases heat in the muscle layer. So what I find it's interesting is this word of releasing. Like suddenly Chai Hu has a releasing, and when we say release in Chinese medicine, usually it's an upwards movement. Harmonizes the lesser yang stage disorder. Raises the clear qi. Suddenly Chai Hu is a herb that raises the qi. First time. And it relieves liver qi constraints. And then we have those warnings in red. Because this is a rising and dispersing herb, it should not be used when the true yin has been severely damaged or with hyperactivity of the liver yang. And this puts a lot of fear in us. So, I mean, what happened? I thought it was a herb that, is nourishing and is calming, and why all these dangerous signs? So it seemed like we're having here two images of a one herb. One herb is bitter, pushes out the old, fruity yang ming, everything goes down, and it can be used for over a long time, and it lightens the body, like a very safe herb. And then we have this other picture of the modern Materia Medica, where suddenly it's placed even the chapter of acrid herbs that release the exterior, like it goes up and out, and it raises the clear chi, and should not be used if their yin is being damaged. I mean, how do we get those two things together? How do we make sense?